Lori Idlout is the NDP MP for Nunavut. She says sadly the findings in the Auditor General's report are nothing new and only highlight long-standing issues.
When I go back to my communities, I hear about a lot of issues, the lack of services and the concerns with child apprehension. So I've heard from my constituents just how unfair the system seems to be. So it really wasn't that much of a surprise, unfortunately.
Hogan's report finds Nunavut's Department of Family Services often fail to do the necessary adult criminal record checks to ensure children in foster homes are safe. It also says social services workers regularly did not check in on children in care on a monthly basis as required. Crown Indigenous Relations Minister Mark Miller says Indigenous children across the country are not well served by the child welfare system, and this is why the government has put forward legislation giving these communities more control of these services.
I don't think any provincial or territorial child agency is doing particularly well by Indigenous peoples. I think that's why we put forward C92, which tries to break through a number of jurisdictional barriers. Because at the end of the day, you're playing a game of back and forth on the backs of Indigenous kids, some of the most vulnerable people in the country.
At the same time, Idlout says a lack of investment in Nunavut, in particular, has created many of the issues facing the child welfare system.
The federal government for years, have been neglecting Nunavut. We know, for example, that there's been a huge lack of investments in housing, in the education system, where there are too many schools that are in poor condition.
Fraser Needham, APTN National News, Ottawa.